Hello, good morning. Today I'm looking at Matthew 24, verse 14. Jesus, after explaining the signs of his second coming, he punctuates his dialogue by giving this verse, which says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all over the world. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. But the main theme is that the gospel will be preached to every creature, to everybody in the world before his coming. That when this gospel of the kingdom has been fully preached, then the second coming will usher in. So I was reading this verse, and then the first two words of the verse itself got my attention, saying, and actually three, and this gospel of the kingdom. I was wondering why Jesus used that word, that phrase, this gospel, meaning that very particular gospel Jesus was preaching, that same gospel Jesus was preaching, that kind of a gospel, the gospel of the kingdom, whether we understand it today or whether we don't, that gospel must be preached. God will have to find people to preach it. Whether the current churches are understanding that gospel, or whether they are misunderstanding it, whether they are preaching another gospel which they have enshrined it in their own church manuals, that really doesn't matter to God. What matters is the second coming will not come unless this gospel is preached undiluted. The very same original gospel must be preached, and actually it must be preached in all over the world. Everybody must understand it. Everybody must hear that gospel. And therefore you read through the Gospels of Matthew, Luke, John, and Mark. Jesus is using that phrase, this gospel, over and over on many verses. From many verses saying this gospel. So that gives me an idea that there is a certain particular type of a gospel that is going to be preached, that is being preached actually, that must be preached for the second coming to come. And therefore, what is this gospel? But within that verse, we see Jesus saying, this gospel of the kingdom. So the gospel itself is about the kingdom. Wherever you have a kingdom, you must have a king. So that simply means, because when Jesus was preaching, when he started to preach, he was actually preaching the kingdom of the gospel of the kingdom, the good news about the kingdom, the good news about the coming of a new kingdom that would rule over the rest of the world. That gospel, which has been foretold in the Old Testament, we read in books like, for example, Daniel. In the second chapter of Daniel, read about the big statue where Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and then of course Daniel came in and interpreted the dream, and out of that dream you have succession of kingdoms. Okay, the first kingdom was Babylon, the second kingdom was Medo-Persia, the third kingdom was Greece, the fourth kingdom was the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire was actually ruling during the time when Jesus was here on earth. And it's during that time that Jesus is saying, and this gospel of the kingdom must be preached into the rest of the world, all over the world, that gospel. Now, after the Roman kingdom, actually we had the pagan Roman, and then it came the papal Rome. And then from that statue, we see the divided kingdom, the 10 toes, and which was which was actually the mixture of clay and iron, meaning that there will be weak kingdoms and strong kingdoms, which is our time actually that we are living in, the time of the end. And then after that type of kingdom, a stone was cut out from a rock, which came and smote that statue, and then that statue got broken down into pieces, and that stone became a big rock. And that was the kingdom that Jesus is saying. So the gospel about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God that Jesus was preaching, was saying that believe in the gospel, and that people should prepare for this kingdom, which is actually the kingdom of grace initially, which actually will come in again as a kingdom of glory. At one time, Jesus came and was preaching, was saying, the kingdom of God is in you. That was the kingdom of grace that he brought. And Jesus was this king. Within this kingdom, you have a king, and Jesus is the king. So everybody that is to receive this kingdom needs to be received first in our heart. That's the kingdom of God. By accepting Jesus, by receiving Jesus in our heart, by accepting his atoning blood, by enthroning him in our spirit. That's the kingdom Jesus is talking about, which will be actually completely manifested through the coming in of the physical coming in of Jesus Christ in this earth. And that will be the kingdom of the glory. That's the kingdom of God. And that is the whole idea. That's the whole gospel that Paul was preaching. That's the whole gospel that all these apostles were preaching, using different words, but that's the kingdom. In the book of Revelation, you read about this gospel, which is called the everlasting gospel. In Revelation 14, verse 6, 7 up to 14 there, you hear about the first angel, the second angel, and the third angel. The first angel is a call to worship him who made the earth and the heaven and everything. Okay? That's the Father who made through Jesus everything. So Jesus made all these things, created everything. So it's a call to worship him. That's the kingdom. That's the gospel of the kingdom. You worship the King of Kings. That's Jesus. Then, of course, the second angel is a warning against these other kings and kingdoms that are trying to usurp and to rule the world and to enforce a false worship. It's actually a warning against the mark of the beast itself, which we know from the reading and from the reading of prophets that would be referring to the Papa Rome. Okay? And of course, then you read about Babylon, the fall of Babylon, which is the fall of these apostate churches, the Protestant churches, which are also within that part of, because Babylon is a kingdom as well. So it's the kingdom of devils, kingdom of false kings and false prophets. So there's that warning there. And in verse 12, there's a good promise that those who keep the kingdom or the commandment of God and the faith of Jesus, which is actually the key to the kingdom of God, those are considered to be blessed. So this is a call for everybody, to anybody, that we should believe in Jesus and keep his commandments. Until next time, God bless you.